Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we will going to continue our series on making HTML, CSS and JavaScript button animations. In this video we have concluded a topic as cinematic and sword slash button. In this you can let me show you first of all how it will going to actually be in the using in the demo. Okay, right here you can see it has been glowing with the purplish neon background, and then we will going to hover it a bit. You can see it has in a little reddish format, and right now let me click it out so that you can check out how it is actually working. See its animation, like one sword come and it has been split into half, which can be used in your websites, like places which like games or any particular part which had been including like swords and some like that, or either any other objects that you want to add. Okay, so let's go to our the tutorial part on how we have created it. Okay, for that we have created a basic boilerplate of the HTML. Okay, and then we had defined it's the style CSS right here. With the title we have given it in a title as this, that you can see cinematic sword slash button. Okay, and that you can see the files as style, script and HTML, and then other projects that you can check out through my own GitHub. Okay, so let's see how what is the content in our. We have first of all created a div by a class as the button container, then the div class as the button vapor and given it an id as the button vapor, and then again we have created a button half class and we have written there the click, and then the given it an id as a left half, and similar way with the right hand side of it. Okay, and then we have created a cut line class which will going to cut it that particular between section of it, and we have written in a id as the cut line which will going to use by the JavaScript. Each of the IDs that I have been defining is going to be done by the HTML. Okay, and then at last we have created a metallic sword with the help of the SVG format, which is so which is basically you can copy and paste it if you doesn't know and doesn't have the idea of how it is been actually done. Okay, so for that let me explain you how it has been actually written. We have using the SCV viewbox as 0000 and using the XML format from the that particular website organization which is using this, and then we will going to use in a div class div, then we will going to use in this linear grid for the blade color, and its one id as the black blade metal, x is equal to 0, y is equal to 0, x is equal to 0 and y is equal to 1, y2 is equal to 1, and then we have defined its color as the stop offset 0% and color as this, and then the stop offset at the 50 as this color, and then at the 100 it will go to this. Okay, and then for the rectangular formats like that you can check out how it has been actually created. Like I have using the x coordinates for the blade and using the blade id for the particular colors that it has been actually defined. Its on height as 60, width as 8, its coordinates as x is 46 and 10 is from the y, and then its stroke will be the 7 and stroke width will be as 0.5, and then the polygon points we had defined it as, which will be given in a pointy effect on it. Okay, that you have seen. And then we had defined the crimson color strokes right there around it, and a handle like that you can see its code. And then again it's on blade as this, rectangular as this, and rect x as equal to 47, and then y as 70, and then width as similar way 6 and 20, and its out positioning has been defined like that. Okay, if you doesn't understand it, then you can just simply copy it out, as I have also taken that particular thing from a website of somewhere. Okay, for the easier reference of creating it. Okay, and so let's go to our next part, which is how we have defined its style. Okay, and let's go to our starting as this. Okay, right here you can see I have used in a body with the background as radiant green, as circle at center as black 0%, and then the black at the 100%, little, then height as 100 ph, then display as flex, and then justify content as center and align item as center for centering the contents. And then we have defined the overflow as hidden, and then we have used the font family as poppies and sans serif inside it. And then we have defined the button container position as class as relative, and then display as inline block, and then perspective as 800 pixel. And then we have defined the button wafer part, which is the position as relative, display as flex, overflow hidden, border radius as 14 pixel, background as linear grid by giving it an angle as 145 degree. And then we have defined the purple, dark bluish, and then the purple shade right there. And for the box shadow we have used in the particularly the 0025 pixel, and then the purple color in the little darker format. And then for the inside it will going to use 0025 and dark purple color that you can see, which will going to particularly give the particular button and a breathing effect, like it has been breathing. Okay, like you have seen in this part, that you can see it has been actually given an effect to the user that it has been actually breathing that particular thing. Okay, so then we go to our next part, which is explaining how it, then we have defined it's the transition as the all, and 0.6 in the e-speed format of that particular animation. And then we have defined a backdrop filter blur as the 3 pixel, which will going to just blur the glow effect to make it in a little bit more realistic. And then we have defined an animation as the pulse name for the 2.5 second in total in the ease in out format, and which will be occur in the infinites that you have seen. Okay, this box shadow in that particular pulse format will be actually changing out, so you can see for the 0 to 100%, it's you can see box shadow as 18 pixel and purple on the outside. And then for the inside it has been go to a little bit lesser amount like that side, which is the default value. Okay, and then the transforming it by the scale by the basically normal scale as 1, which is the original size of it. Okay, and then at the 50%, which is how its own animation will be occurring. For if it reaches the 50% of its animation part, then it will go to the 40 pixel by the purple color, and then you can see it has color like this. And then similar way it has also increased in its reach that you have seen in the particular part. That let me show you how it has been actually working. Right here you can see it has been showing this, it has been going out, and it has a blur effect, and it has goes little bit inside, okay, of it, increasing it. And then we go to our next part, which is how we had defined the button half effects. Okay, and then hover flex as 1, then padding as 20 pixel and 30 pixel, background as transparent of it, then color as white, border none, font size as 20 pixel, letter spacing 1 pixel, font weight as 600, and then the text will be aligned at the center or align the text, and then pointer event of it will be as a pointer will be the cursor. Okay, and then the text shadow will be given as 008 pixel and by the purple in the starting. Okay, and we have defined the transition of it as all and 0.5 seconds in the each speed format. And then for the papers, a little bit hover animation, we had defined the background of it as linear grid 145 degree, and then the maroon and red color inside it. Okay, and then for the box shadow we had defined the 25 pixel and the red and light inside it. It will going to came with the light red color that you can see 20 pixel of it, and then animation will be as the none, and then the button vapor hover effect will be as the button half, text shadow as 008 pixel as the red. Okay, and then we have defined the sort part, which will going to basically get operates through the JavaScript, which will going to just append that particular these classes that you have seen in the particular parts. Okay, which you can see we had defined the position as absolute, then top as 100 220 50 pixel, then left as minus 50%, transform as translate x as minus 50% and rotate as 45 degree, and then width and height as 130 pixel, and then the opacity as 0 and pointer event is none. And then we had defined it z index as 1, then for the SGV part which we had defined, it will have the width and height as 100%, and then the filter drop shadow as 30 pixel with the red color that you can see. Okay, and for the sparking event effect that you have been seeing in the start like that, let me show you how its own sparking effect is actually working. That you have seen its spark has been coming and right there. Okay, so which will going to basically gets operated by the JavaScript that you have also seen. It has been not present in our actual HTML. Okay, then for that we have defined the position as absolute, width and height as 6 pixel, background as radiant grid with the circular format as pink, skin pink color, and then the red, and then border radius as 50%, opacity as 0, and then counter event is none, and then animation for the short smash class we have defined its animation as slash 1 seconds and define its positioning as this, you can see for it, and in the forward direction it will going to move. Okay, and for the animation part, for the 0 second at the starting, its opacity will start and its transfer from the translate as -50% and comma -250 pixel, and then it will going to rotate by the 40 degree, and then by the once it has reached to the 45% of it, that particular animation, its transform translate will turns to -50% to comma 60% and rotated by 65 degree, and scale its own size will be increased by 0.1 times of its original size, and then opacity will be as the full currently, and then the filter its shadow by a little bit darker it and increasing its size as 0.050 pixel. Okay, and then z index will be as 3, and then the 55% of it, then you can see its own rotation has been goes to upwards again, from goes downwards, and its own animation has been like that, goes to the z index as 1, and once it has been done at the 100%, it's get to normal 60 degree, and then it will go back. Okay, and for the smash effect, which will going to shake that particular, we have defined then animation with the name as shake 0.4 seconds, its time total run time will be, and then is speed it will be running, and for the its keyframes of the animation, as we had defined the 0 and 100% of reasoning as transform translate x as 0, and by the 25 it will going to just translate x by the -6 pixel and 50% to the 6 pixel, and then 75 it will go to the -3 pixel. Okay, and then it has we have defined the classes as split left and then the split right, which you can see right here. I have defined the angle, you can see the only rotation angle is different right there. Okay, rotation angle and its own coordinates is different, that you can see both of them are almost similar, but just having the different translate x according to their positioning. One will go to left and then one will go to right, that you can see it has the translate x as the 70 pixel -70 pixel right here, and here the 70 pixels. Similarly, rotate y has an difference, and in the rotate part opacity and filter has been similar. And then we have defined in a class as the cut line, that you can see its position has been absolute, and then top as 0 and left as 50%, and then width as 3 pixel, and then height as 100%, and then the background as linear grid 180 degree red color, and then the brown color it will be having. Okay, and opacity will be as null in the start, as it will be done by the JavaScript. Okay, and then shadow of it will be as this color with the 0020 pixel, and z index of it as the 0. And for the show class of it, we have defined its animation as this, that you can see it animation has the basically at the 0% it will be appear, and at the 100% it will just disappear. And for the spark move part, that you can see its own scaling and some transition part will be also going to work according to it, which will be work according to the JavaScript. Okay, now let's go to our JavaScript. Right here you can see I have defined the some const variables like here, which will going to fetch the IDs as, first of all it will going to take out the button vapor ID. We have defined the vapor const document dot get element by ID, and we have taken the HTML ID right here. Similar way left half will be taken and the right half and the sort and then the cut line. Okay, and then we go to our main functions how we have created. First of all, for the sparkles part we have using the const container is equal to document dot query selector with the, which will going to take select the class as the button container that you have seen. Its own HTML style has been right there, sorry, and then we had defined in a for loop which will going to run it by the let is equal to I, and it will goes to the particularly the 14 numbers of it, which will going to means it will going to use in a create in a 14 sparks dots. Okay, if you have any another want then you can go to there. Okay, and then we can just see that we will going to go to the const spark is equal to document create element div spark class list, then we will going to add that particular style that we have just implemented in our style CSS, and then we will going to define its angle as like that math dot random into 2 into by math dot pi, and then the distance will be similar way 60 plus math dot pi into 60 for the randomization, and then for the x and y coordinate we have using the similar way for the we're going to use in a math function by the using the cos by an angle that we have taken value, and then multiply it by the distance plus x pixels, and then the y axis similar way in the sine angle way. Okay, you will be thinking how it that why I have using the sine for the y coordinates and cos for the x axis, as it will going to just take out the particular thing, the animations that you can see right here. Okay, it has just showing the different animation right there. Okay, and then we had defined its the variables as like that style dot set property as variable that you have seen in the style CSS we had defined, and then for the left part we had defined it like that, and for the top we had defined it by this pixel way. Okay, and then we have going to just append it child of the particular spark, and then we will going to just given it a style animation as spark move 0.8 second ease out format and in the forward direction, and then we had defined its timing as 0.8 second that you can see as it has been right there. Okay, and then for the vapors part we had defined it like that. It will going to first of all add a smash class, and then the vapor class as smash effect, and then for the background you can see I have defined the linear grid as 145 degree and then the color as this, you can see red, okay. And then the box shadow, in the similar way we had defined the its own style as box shadow and 0 0 25 pixel red, and then inside as 0 20 pixel and with the light red, and then the animation will be as null, and then we will going to add in a cut line class as the show, okay. And then it will going to run the particular above event function that we had defined as the create spark, okay. And then we will going to run in a set timeout, as it will going to run in a left half class by adding it, that you can see split left to the, and then the similar way with the right half, and its own timing has been defined as 0.48 seconds. And for the resetting the slash and again restoring the purple color, we will going to define the set out timeout as this, and then the sort class list as remove, and then the smash it, remove the particular class as smash, then with a similar way paper, then the cut line, and then left and half part in the 1.5 seconds, okay, time frame. And once it has been done, it will go fade back to the purple glow that you have seen before, okay. And we have that in an arrow function right here as vapor dot style dot transition is equal to all 1.5 seconds is, and then the vapor dot style background linear gradient 145 degree by this color again that we had defined before, and then the again the style will be go to the default which we had defined within the 2 seconds, okay. So that's it for today, guys. If you guys enjoy this tutorial, make sure to like and subscribe to my channel for the further contents like this. See ya. If you have any query, then you can go to our comment section. So goodbye.